Okay, the first question of the interview, what is your name?
Hi, I'm Daniel Allison, Daniel Stephen Allison.
And how old are you?
20 years old.
And where were you born?
I was born in Springwood, and I first went to JPC, John Paul College, and then I moved to Milton when I was in grade 5, where I started going to Brisbane Grammar School.
Thanks. And where are your parents from and what do they do?
My parents are also from Australia. My dad was born in Nepal, where he shortly moved to Australia after, and my mum was also born in Australia, and they grew up in Springwood as well.
Hey, so how do you and your family commute to work and for you, university as well?
I catch the bus to university and to work, and my mum and dad drive to work at Greenslopes. One of the biggest reasons is I've always wanted to travel to the Southeast Asian countries. I got an opportunity in school to travel to Cambodia, but unfortunately it was closed off to my year group. So I've always wanted to go to one of those countries, and Indonesia seems such a cultural rich country, and it's a lovely place to travel to. Also personally, I would like to go because I want to be more involved in university, meet new people, obviously also people over in Indonesia, and make more friends.
Okay, perfect. We'll move to the second part. Can you tell us a little about where you've lived and gone to school in your lifetime? I know you briefly mentioned a bit about where you lived, but maybe more into your school.
So when I was younger, I went to John Paul College. I went there until grade 4, and then after grade 4, I went to Brisbane Grammar School, and then finished my high schooling there when I got into UQ after that as well.
Congratulations. And what sort of things do you do in your spare time?
I like to spend time with my friends, socialize. I also like my free time, so chilling at home, playing some games and watching movies, and playing sports as well. That's a big thing. I like playing soccer. I used to do gymnastics a lot, but I've taken up soccer, tennis, badminton, any sport really, as long as...
The second part will be more about your actual experience with the flooding event. So could you start off by telling us your experience of rain-induced flooding in your life?
Yeah. The only experience I have is in 2022, when the flooding occurred. It flooded the entrance and driveway to my apartment block building, so it trapped anyone inside and it stopped you from leaving. Fortunately, I got out before the flooding fully flooded the driveway, and I had to relocate to the Sunshine Coast. But also I had COVID at the time, so it made it very difficult to isolate while relocating. It was quite difficult to do all that together.
Yeah, what was the process of relocation, or how did you relocate?
Well, we saw the heavy rainfall and we assumed that flooding could occur, so we just stayed on top of it. And then before the flooding occurred, we found an Airbnb at the Sunshine Coast pretty quickly and moved there and just stayed there until the flooding stopped and it died down. But I couldn't go outside, do anything like that, so I had to stay with my family the entire time while isolating from them as well, which was pretty hard.
And that's assumed by also COVID that made that more difficult.
COVID
as well.
Yeah, and other people also were trapped inside the building, and in my area some houses were flooded, which was unfortunate. Located, some people were trapped and found it hard to get food and stuff like that in the time. And I know some other people on other floors also relocated around the same time we did, fortunately.
Okay. Did you feel like you felt a lot of support from the government during this time, or was this entirely
Not particularly. It was a spur of the moment decision because we had to move, so we didn't really get any funding or anything like that. And my house wasn't actually flooded because it was more just the lobby that was flooded, so we didn't really get any support from the government after.
Okay. And how did you find the cleanup after returning to your house?
Well, all the food was moldy and disgusting. We had to clean out the entire fridge and buy some replacement parts. and yeah, obviously buy all new food. But yeah, that was the worst part of moving back in, because there was no power, or the power was shut off because the power was kept underground.
Okay. Thank you for sharing your experience with us.
All good.